Hey, are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or professional? If so, we want you to apply to be a featured guest on our show. My name is Adam Torres, and I host the Mission Matters series of podcasts. I've recorded over 3,000 episodes, and we are just getting started. How do you know if you'd be a good guest to be on the show? Well, only one way to find out, and that's to apply, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We want guests that have a story to tell, guests with a brand, a product, or a service that can benefit my audience of listeners. If this sounds like you, go to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. I'd love to talk to you and get to know more about your story. Again, head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Karthik Manamuzi on the line, and he's CEO over at RentMoola. Karthik, welcome to the show.
Good morning to you and all your viewers on this beautiful holiday week.
Oh, man. Well, Karthik, I am excited to get into today's topic. So we're going to talk about how RentMoola is really innovating and helping families, especially during these financially and emotionally difficult times. So maybe just to get us started, tell us a little bit more about the company. So tell us a little bit more about RentMoola for the audience that haven't heard of it yet.
Absolutely. The company was founded in 2013 and initially simplified the process of paying rent and utilities online, instead of checkbooks and other complex way people transfer money. And I joined this business in November last year, and what we have done is reimagined this entire business. So we have two major stakeholders. We have the landlords, and we have the renters that we care about. Our major vertical happens to be large multifamilies with different number of units that we normally support. So from a landlord's perspective, it's fairly straightforward. They care about cash flow. Most of the times, the rent collected really feeds their mortgage and expenses. So it's very important to have a good revenue lifecycle management platform, which we provide, a classic fintech platform that allows not just ease, but also a secure way of collecting and also correlating the rent collections. So we do that alongside very strong analytics and reporting for the landlords. They can stay on top of all of those things. And on top of it, we also provide a strong risk management platform capabilities, which includes providing tenant screening, tenant insurance, so on and so forth. And last but not the least, we are planning to release some working capital options for the landlords. So fairly straightforward from a landlord's perspective, a comprehensive platform to manage your community of renters and make sure that you're able to perform your duties. From a tenant's perspective, our vision here is to empower tenants to take control of their finances, irrespective of their socioeconomic background. The renter population is pretty huge, Adam, as you know, in North America, 15 million family households. That's 1 in 3 households are renters. So they all come from, multi-generational, different socioeconomic background. So as a fintech company, we are committed to really, creating a level playing field. So financial literacy is on top of our mind. So everything we do is about simplification. So how can we empower the tenants, our consumers, to take control of their finances through a simple, secure, and integrated system? And we do that by deploying a very diverse ecosystem of world-class global partners. Now, what does it mean for our renters? We think about their life cycle. So as a tenant, you can start by searching for the right apartment through our partners on the apartment listing site. Once you find the right apartment, you can make an application to become a tenant through our platform. You can get in front of the line through our tenant screening services, where we are able to do, credit criminal screenings through our partnerships. And once you get in front of the line, we are able to help you process to the next stages. Either you have your own tenant insurance or rental insurance. If you don't have one, in some cases is required or mandated by the landlords, then we do provide an option to purchase rental insurance on our platform. And depending on which market we are supporting, Canada, US, today we are operational in over 400 cities in North America. So if you happen to be in the US and you're looking for alternatives to your security deposits, imagine the strain, Adam, on ordinary families. So you are really working hard, making sure that your rent is paid, your expenses are taken care of. Now, on top of it, when you move into an apartment, depending on the state requirements, you may have to put up 1, 2, or 3 months of your rent up front as security deposit. That creates an enormous strain on your cash flow. So we're able to remove that strain through a major partnership that we have built with a Fortune 300 company called Assurant, and we are able to provide a security deposit alternative. So you can purchase a bond instead of putting up big cash deposits as low as 10%, and the bond covers the requirements of the security deposit. And then we are also working, and this is something we expect to roll out early part of next year. During these tough times, landlords are worried about the steady cash flow from the rent. So we do have a lease liability product that we are currently working on that can protect the landlords up to 4 months of lease. It's a lease guarantee program we're working to release early part of next year, so stay tuned on that one. So once the renter is done, finding the apartment through the tenant screening, found their insurance, leverage something like the security deposit alternatives, puts more cash in their banks, and then they move to the next part, the most important part, payments. So we are able to provide 360-degree payment options because people have different level of comfort and competency when it comes to digital platforms. So it's very important for us to provide every possible avenue. For example, if they want to do a bank transfer, great. In Canada, pre-authorized debit or EFT, ACH, they can do that. If you want a credit card, debit card, definitely possible on the platform, be it Visa, MasterCard, whatever brand you use, or specialty cards like Amex. If you are a Chinese student or a traveler and you prefer Union Pay, we are able to do that on the platform. We are also adding new features, including digital wallet, as well as Apple Pay, WeChat Pay, and so on, to provide maximum convenience. Now, there may be tenants who are still not comfortable transacting on the digital platform. So we have an in-cash solution coupled with a digital wallet solution, 2 options here. In the in-cash solution, we can just simply send a QR code, the form of a text message, and they can walk into retail locations like Walmart, CVS, 7-Eleven, and they can take care of the payment over the counter, and the payment reconciles on the platform as though it was a digital payment. So maximum flexibility there. We're able to take money orders through Canada Post. We are working on a lockbox solution so people who still write checks can do. Now, if you ask me why are we spreading ourselves to be able to support every kind of payment, the answer is quite simple, Adam, because for the landlord, the full effectiveness of a digital platform comes into play if and only if a majority of their renters are paying using the platform, or else they're stuck with manual operations. And imagine you collect rent through the month. So this is a never-ending cycle.
Yeah,
so we are able to accommodate close to 100% of your renter payments. And through a digital wallet platform, we're able to do remote capture of checks, and also 85,000 retail locations in the U.S. where people can walk into. It gives maximum flexibility. Now, this is all about payments, Adam. Now, what if you are struggling sometimes to get the balance right, particularly through COVID? And with the disrupted economic activity, what we are introducing in Q4 is a line of credit solution. So it's a revolving line of credit, which is offered interest-free for a limited period of time. But the beauty of the solution is that it does not just use your credit score. It uses your financial history and data to formulate your credit worthiness. So people who might normally be discriminated against because of their credit score will have another shot at this. And the way it works is it's fairly simple. You're able to put your rent into a shopping cart, just like the Amazon. At the time of checkout, you click on the credit button, 30-second application, 60-second instantaneous decision, and you are provided a revolving line of credit and 15 seconds to check out. So you're combining the power of Amazon for the very first time in a rental payment platform. And not only that, we are combining convenience with an additional line of liquidity. And now if you don't qualify for the revolving line of credit, we are considering providing you other options like micro loan options at a prime rate less than 8% and so on. And then once you're done with your payments, we allow the tenants to report their on-time payment to the credit bureau. So why wouldn't you take advantage of this? Because your rent payment happens to be one of the most on-time payments. And if it can help bolster your credit score, it can allow you to maybe rent a bigger apartment, improve your quality of life, or guess what? You want to become a first-time homeowner, this can allow you to borrow better as well. So we're able to provide these services. Now, with 50 million North Americans renting, we should be thinking about using your rent and utility payments to help boost your credit score. And last but not the least, we provide a tenant communication platform. Everything from bulletin board to replacing those because people are worried about contacts and the new reality under COVID. Your house has become everything from shared space to your home, your office, your gym, everything. So this digital bulletin board will help you to create that community with your tenants, which is increasingly important. Community is a must-have amenity in today's world. And we are also able to provide for, marketing opportunities for the landlord. For example, they can promote local mom and pop businesses, for a fee or without a fee as a service to the tenants. And that helps kind of bolster this compassionate approach towards helping each other and building a community. So that's what we offer, Adam.
Man, that's awesome. And I love it because you're creating a lot of win-win scenarios or win-win-win, right? So, it's good for your company, obviously RentMoola, but the tenants, the landlords, the flow of economy just in general, and made it so easy for people. It's pretty amazing and the speed at which you're doing things. So that being said, what are some of the, you have a unique vantage point, like running RentMoola and with all this data. What are some of the things that you're curious about right now and that maybe you're researching in your space?
That's a great question, Adam. And you're right. It's about community. It's about creating successes for all parties, correct? And one of the things I looked at, I'm my background has been in enterprise applications. I've worked in different fields. When I came into the real estate, looked closely at the market, one of the things that I struggled to understand is that in 2019, close to 48 million renters paid $550 billion in rent and utility in 2019, U.S. and Canada alone. However, there is a very limited financial infrastructure enabling this transaction. There's a lot of platforms that talks about, let's just transfer the money for a fee, but that's just splitting the pie. What about growing the pie? And if you look at e-commerce, right, which is a very cyclical market, a lot of the spend happens during, certain times of the year, almost 85% in the holiday season. Even there, you see an explosion of products in e-commerce when it comes to checkout credit, buy now, pay later, installment pay, and the renters are a much better risk class and category. However, they do not have any convenience when it comes to actually, leveraging additional liquidity to pay anything other than the conventional credit card options, which might seem good initially because you get a 3 to 5% cash back. But in 30 to 60 days, the interest becomes due. So I was kind of very, very much obsessed with, what happens, because even before COVID, 78% of Americans and 53% of Canadians were living paycheck to paycheck. And 40% of the household cannot take an unexpected $300 to $400 unexpected spend. And many times they have to borrow prime or subprime based on credit score. And in many cases, exposes them to predatory lenders who can blur the line between principal and interest. So what about these families, hardworking families? How can you create options for them? So there are a lot of things that I'm exploring, one of which is how do we create a reliable financial infrastructure for one of the biggest spend items on your monthly budget, paying rent. You cannot shelter in place without a shelter, right? So this is one of the areas I've been very curious about. And I've been researching and working with partners, and that's how we came to the line of credit solution. We're looking for viable alternatives to credit score-based lending. I'm looking at alternate lending where data can be used for good. So, nothing wrong with credit score, but it has its its downsides. For example, credit score is a snapshot that people look at for one-time decision making. However, if you are a new immigrant, or if you are a family or an individual who had a couple of bad incidents in your life, right? Life is all about second chances. This can impact your credit score. Also, it's feared that 1 in 5 credit scores in the U.S. may have some kind of fault in it. And depending on your financial literacy level, you may not know the ideal way to build and maintain your credit score. So, and we know that people come from very different socioeconomic standards. So it's very important to create a level playing field there. So I don't think there is a silver bullet to this problem. Mm-hmm. I think it's a community effort. Financial institutions, governments, counties, individual consumers, fintechs like us. I think we need to take on this problem. There's been a lot of issues around data and privacy. So we obviously have to respect data and privacy. But if there is one thing data can be used to really help people, it is in determining their credit worthiness, right? And I can share a story from my personal background. I come from India, from a lower middle class family. And my dad, when we were growing up, right, so to put me and my sisters through college, he had to borrow. And he borrowed, it's unsecuritized borrowing, mostly from friends and family, right? So I think that the community aspect is very important. People's intent and ability to repay may be better determined by combining credit score with something like their financial data, their social networks, things of that nature. And I'm very much obsessed with that and creating a fair and level playing field. And I think it takes a village to make it happen. It's not just one company, but that is one thing I've been obsessed with.
No, I love it. I mean, I like that you're out there working for the families, because that's what you're doing, and I like it because not everybody's working on solving these problems, and you are. And I think it's a problem worth solving, because you're right. Financial literacy, all these other things that maybe some people don't have working for them. It'd be nice to to be able to catch a break and to be able to still be able to transition and benefit from some of the other things that others, let's just say, might have the opportunity to do. So I think it's great. So let's see. I mean, you've been a lot of press going on. I mean, you've been busy. So you're featured in Authority magazine. I mean, your company won an award for being a top fintech disruptor in 2020. I mean, tell me a little bit more about all this press and what's going on. You guys are killing it over there.
No, I think it's just testament to the hard work and the vision that our team is working towards. So one thing about me, Adam, personally, I grew up in India. I was one of the first 5 green cards to move to Germany when they introduced that as part of my professional journey. And I like to tell people that my entire career was built around crisis. When I got my first job at SP, moved to Germany, it was immediately after the dot-com bust in 2001. And I happened to manage mid-market business in UK and Ireland right around the 2008 financial crisis. And this was my first job as CEO. I took charge in November. And 2 months later, we are embroiled in one of the worst health and economic crises that the world economy has seen. So, it's very easy to be tied up, be depressed. But I'm a very optimistic person, like so are many entrepreneurs and a lot of ordinary families who fight day to day to, put bread on the table. And one of the things that I've learned through my successes and my journey is that if you want to build something, you have to solve a real problem. You have to look at what is happening. And oftentimes, the best solution may not come from insiders. It's not a attack on people with a deep vertical expertise. It's merely an observation. I feel like, knowledge is very empowering, but it can also limit you. Because it can be a burden for you because you get so used to some of the problems that you don't think about those problems. So one of the issues that I came across when I was looking at how do you put a financial infrastructure around the most predictable spend that 15 million families make, one of the biggest thing was, if people can't afford to pay rent, they must be lazy. I'm saying, okay, the reality of the world is that people are working 3 jobs, 4 jobs just to stand where they are. So maybe we have to alter some of those thinking to say that, in today's world, it takes a lot more, working multiple jobs and getting everything done, to really be able to stay up on bills and everything. So you should avoid the temptation to shame people based on their fiscal situation. And that is one of the things that we're driven, and that's a mission that my team firmly believes in. I think the recognition, we're very happy, but the journey is just starting for us. And we're very happy that these things get recognized, because obviously we don't intend on doing this alone. We have a wonderful ecosystem of world-class partners who all believe in exactly what we do. And I'm all about expanding that family, because I always say there are no silver bullets. All you have is a bunch of lead bullets. You got to fire in sequence, and it's going to take a village for us to get out of the situation. And I firmly believe, and so does my team, that compassion is the need of the hour. We really have to get through this. This is a extraordinary situation through COVID. There is $34 billion in past due rent owed by the American families. That number was just $21 billion 3 months ago. This is an extraordinary strain on people. It is going to require, businesses, communities, governments, wealthy, high net worth individuals. It's going to require a community to help us get out of this. And we are very happy that our vision is recognized, because it's very easy to get swept away with everything that's going around you. And we take that responsibility very seriously.
Oh, man. That's awesome, Karthik, and well said. And I love I love it. I love that you're out there working for people. I like your vision. I like what you're doing with RentMoola. And to end it, if somebody's listening to this and they want to learn more about RentMoola or to connect with you and your team overall, I mean, what's the best way for them to do that?
Absolutely. You can directly reach me at ceo@rentmoola.com, or you could just visit us on our website, which is www.rentmoola.com, and drop us a note there. We're always interested, to talk to customers, partners, investors, anybody who is interested in our story, and they have a innovative or cool idea to combine forces. We're all ears. We believe in co-opetition. We believe the problem is big enough that and the market is big enough that we are happy to join forces with anybody who is like-minded and has got the good of people at heart.
Amazing. Well, Karthik, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and what you're doing with RentMoola. I mean, it's just an amazing company. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time listening, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. We definitely want you to come back and listen to some more episodes. We have some other great guests coming up. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, obviously hit the subscribe button there. But more importantly, leave us some comments on the video. I'd love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on, and to keep our conversation going in the YouTube community. And Karthik, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, and I wish a happy and safe holiday season for everyone.